esta presentación efectivamente sigue siendo en inglés. So I'm going to switch to English for all the English speakers that we have here in the forum. I'm very glad to present Magnus Karlson from Katam Technologies. Magnus is a MSc in mechanical engineering, has more than 30 years of experience of international business, now leading green tech company Katam in the global implementation of digital services for measuring in forest environment. Multilingual, having lived in various countries with a passion for forestry and digitalization. Magnus will be presenting Katam as a democratizing forestry by AI in your smartphone, which is like a very interesting topic that most of our attendees and entrepreneurs would be interested to listen about it. So Magnus, thank you very much for being here in our forum. We have a lot of people connected, a lot of attendees. It has been a day of a lot of surprises, a lot of new developments in technology, a lot of interesting discussions between the use of technology and how it can be helpful to us in tackling challenges of climate change and deforestation. So Magnus, the podium is all yours. Thank you very much for being here.
Thank you very much, Gabriel. Let's see if I can share my screen here.
Give me a second. All right, it's all yours, Magnus.
There we are. Can you see that? Thank you very much for that introduction, Gabriel, and really a challenge. I listened into the previous presentation to come after that fantastic presentation. So my name is Magnus Karlson. I'm leading Katam Technologies, and I'm going to tell quite a nice story about how technology, AI, and computer vision can help local people to a living, at the same time helping nature. And we put it the title Democratization of Forestry. So as I guess most of you are aware that forest is today measured very much the same way as our grandfathers and grandmothers did. Its tape and caliber is the state of the art, and it has many drawbacks that we are well aware about. It's very expensive, time consuming. You need a lot of people, and all over the world this is a challenge to get people. It's a tough job to work with forest inventory. When you're doing this manually with the tape, you can have very limited sampling sizes. So it's normally state of the art in plantation forestry is well below 0.5%. And then it's obviously that you will not get a good quality of the stand that you're trying to measure. And having people from reading the tape, deciding the height where they're putting the tape, transferring it to pads or computers back in the office, there are a lot of errors coming in there. And finally, this is a snapshot, and it's not really traceable. You can't audit it even a day after, and much less a year or something afterwards. And this was the basics when Christer, our founder, had been working in mobile phone industry for many years. So 7 years ago, and he's a private forest owner in Sweden. We are some 300,000 private forest owners here in Sweden. And he thought it's ridiculous that we are on this level in forestry. And having worked with mobile phones, he saw a big potential in that. So he started with some friends to develop an app for mobile phones to use photometry or computer vision and artificial intelligence to measure forest. And this is the Katam way to measure forest. So what we are doing, and this has then improved over the years, but basically what we need is a video. So you walk along a tree line and collecting a video. It can be on a smartphone, it can be a GoPro camera, and that will then be processed either directly in the smartphone or uploaded in the cloud. And basically you can say that we started with a smartphone, and we today use that more for smaller forest owners, whereas the GoPro device is more for enterprises when you have professional people being out measuring forest full time. And after processing, you can take out the results. If you are on the phone, you just you get the report immediately out in the forest. You don't need the coverage, and the results is there in your pocket. And it's a bit difficult to imagine and how this is working. So I decided to try this to share a video showing quite well the process, how this is working. So it's, as I said, just walk, and this can also be done with a phone, but making a video with that. If you're on the phone, you don't need to do this, but the GoPro, the video is uploaded on the cloud where it's being processed. And here is the results. It can be an Excel sheet, which fascinating enough, most companies prefer, or fancy reports. This is quite interesting. This is also part of the report. And in the forestry, we're used to these circular sample plots. Some countries, they are rectangular as well. But we are saying just walk a line, and that is your sample plot. So the more straight line of the two is where the person is walking, and a little bit more uneven line here is the range of the camera, which is normally 10 to 15 meters or a little bit more. And that is then your full sample plot.
Magnus, just a small question. Are you sharing the screen?
Oh, sorry. Yes, and I'll try it again.
There you go. No, yeah, there you go. Perfect.
So then I go back one step.
Yeah, thank you.
Hopefully you heard me.
Yeah.
But this is basically our process. Walking the line, making the processing, and you get the reporting coming out. And now let's try this again. I thought the problem would be the streaming, but maybe not. So I hope you can see this. So here is how you're walking through the forest using the GoPro. In this case, can also be a mobile phone. If there is a GoPro, it's being uploaded, and we process this in the cloud, adding some features. And here comes the result. Excel report is very popular for most companies, and this is the picture I talked about. This is how the sample plots look from above. And we also have some very nice fancy PDF reports, but as I said, Excel are the most loved ones. And here you can see in this is how the result looks. So what our technology is doing is generating a ground model. It's this green, bluish lines or network you can see on the ground. And so we know how big that area is. Then the AI is identifying the trees coming out of the earth, and then we are measuring each tree trunk on a number of positions. The standard is to take out the value on breast height, but we can take it out on whatever height. And today we are even making the kubashim, what's the English word for that? You're making the form of the cylinder, so you can get that. So by that, I just wanted to illustrate a little bit what our technology is actually meaning. So this technology then gives a number of benefits, of course, to really digitalizing this process. In normally in plantation forestry, in South America, in Southeast Asia, and in Africa, normal modus operandi is 3 people walking, making with tapes, and after they are very tired and have collected more or less 1,000 square meters per person. And any one of you that I would train for half an hour would go out and measure 1,000 square meters a minute. So it's a complete leapfrogging what we're doing here in the productivity. And this then solved the problem. When you talk to people in South America, for example, they say the biggest issue is not the cost or the poor quality. It's actually to get people at all to do this. It's a very tough job to be out there walking up and down the hills in terrain, and normally it's not so easy. And here you can much faster read much more terrain. As the sampling then will become much bigger, instead of the 0.5, we normally recommend our customers to have 5% or maybe even 10%. And then, of course, you get a much more reliable information coming out from the whole stand. As all the videos, they are geolocated, there is always a possibility to audit afterward. For example, we're having what I heard from the previous presentation, when you have this carbon capture company, then you have an auditability that can show that a tree was standing at exactly this point a year ago. I can go there 1 year later, I can show the same tree is there, and this is how much it has been growing. It's a very low investment in what we are offering. It's normal consumer electronics, Android phones or GoPro cameras. We're also measuring from above, and then we're talking about standard consumer drones as well. And as it's a digital process, all the human errors are eliminated, literally. So that's a little bit what the background to the story I wanted to share with you. And this is the case study about Uganda and the small farmers there. So, and we got into this together with New Forest, a customer of ours. So that they are a wood company working in Africa, and they had a problem that they are buying a lot, or the provider of wood for them was many times the small farmers. They had less than half a hectare with rather few amount of trees there, and what's happening there was that there were middlemen going to the farmers, buying these trees from the local farmer for a bargain. And then sold it to the wood company for high prices, which with the consequence that the middleman, he was putting all the money in his pocket. The small forest holder or small farmer got hardly anything. So the forest didn't have any value to them, with the consequence that they didn't care about the replanting, not taking care of the trees. It was just some pocket money that they got, that they had spent in a week's time with this process. And New Forest perceived it as a serious problem. They found our technology, and we started to discuss with them. And the solution we then came up with together with them was that they provided, though many of them actually had cell phones, but those that not having cell phones, they provided, and we're talking normal, standard, basic phones here. They provided that for these farmers, and they could then go out themselves with their phones, measure their forest, in a second's time get the result, how much wood do I have there, and they could take a direct contact with the wood buyers and getting a real price for the wood instead of the price that was offered by this middleman. And by this, these forest owners, they had a real increase. I mean, this fast-growing forest here, a real increase in their income, and they had a very strong incentive to take care of the forest, to plant more trees, to take care of them, and ensure that they got to a mature age before they were being harvested. So that's quite a nice story, I think, where technology can actually help people improving their life, at the same time helping the nature to grow in a better way. And the conclusions we can pull out of this is that I'm relatively new in forestry as this. I'm private forest owner since many years, but working with professional forestry, and I think this is really the last frontier of digitalization. Forestry has still a long way to go there, and agriculture is well ahead of us. And what you can't measure, you can't manage, or if a forest is not measured, it probably represents a very low value because you don't know what it is. And here digitalization can help a lot, and it can help everyone from, because this with the middleman is not I know it's exactly the same thing but in a different ways here in Sweden. When I'm having my forest here, I don't have, or a Swedish normal forest owner does not have an idea about really what volume of wood he's having there. There are very few companies buying. It's a knowledgeable market that come there and not always offering market condition prices. So this is where this can help in all over the world, not only in Africa. This really is empowering the forest owners to get a grip and knowledge about their forest so they can manage it in the best way. So that was basically the story I wanted to share with you. The New Forest Company, they're basically saying the same. This is Candice Taylor, manager there, pushing this, and we continue to develop this program in other areas. So with that, I'm ready. Any questions?
Thank you, Magnus. I think that it's an amazing application because most of the organizations that work with forestry entrepreneurs or forest companies, I think that it's a good way to connect them to technology, because most of the people that we work with, they don't have a lot of technical knowledge, and I think that Katam, it's an easy way to get like to the forest, to measure an easy way. I think that the comparison between not using the technology and using the technology, it's a huge step. Like like being able to manage and monitor more space, more area of forest by using the technology. I think that's an amazing opportunity. And let me check if in the virtual platform we have some questions. Okay, one question is if you have any experience with crops or agriculture companies, if Katam can work to solve some challenges in the agricultural area.
Yes, we can definitely, and we are having many different applications with this technology that we're using. However, we are, as I said before, the digitalization within agro is about 10 years ahead of us. So we haven't stepped into there. There are other areas, for example, power lines. The power lines going through the landscape, the trees are growing in, and the power line companies that are spending fortunes on keeping these clean, and they don't know when it's needed. When do I have to go in and clean there? We just send a drone along the line, make this processing, and I can easily measure how close the branches are to the power line. That's one thing we can do, where we're working in projects with the orientation without GPS, using the same technology.
Okay, amazing. We have another question from Columba Martinez Hernandez. They're asking for the cost of the application. I think that if we want to disclose that, or even we can share the web page and there they can explore it, but you tell us.
Maybe you can ask her what she thinks it's worth. Now, the application to download it on the phone, you can find it on our page. You can download it. It's 30 days for free. So you can all download it, try it out, test it. If you want to keep it, it's about $300, depending on where you are, for a year's use, unlimited use.
Amazing, amazing. And we also have another question from Luisa Fernanda Acosta. She's saying, does this technology works with any kind of forestry plantation, like species of trees?
Yes, it does. If they have very rare form, we may need to train the model. So if we are taking a new customer, we had a case acacia we hadn't had before, for example, And then we had to make some training of the model, but normally it's not much. The only requirement we're having is that this is an optical model. So, I mean, what you can see with your eyes, we can measure. So that is not the problem. We have a vision to really go into more natural forests. But I'm sure we're going to do that. The challenge there is that there's a lot of things covering the site, and we need to see it, or at least partly we need to see the stem. We can walk through, pass by bushes, but there has to be different angles where we're actually capturing the trunk.
Okay, thank you very much. There's some greetings from Peru. They're asking if the technology is available there. I think that it's available everywhere, right, Magnus?
Yes, we sell. I mean, the download you can do everywhere. Having the opportunity, we're very proud that actually this week we are starting our first outside of Sweden company. So we have now a legal entity in Brazil with 4 employees, and we are running South America out of Brazil. So we have 4 foresters in Brazil, and they are busy. We have been in Colombia several times. We have been in Ecuador several times. We're working in Uruguay, in Paraguay, in Chile. Peru is not yet there. We had some contacts, but we haven't gone there yet.
All right, Magnus. So thank you very much. Thank you very much for the space, for the presentation. I think that the audience took it really, really good. Like, we have a lot of forestry people, a lot of forestry entrepreneurs that are very interested in these kind of technologies. And Magnus, I'm very pleased and very thankful for you to be in this forum. I hope that next year Katam would have another innovative technology to present in the forum. And thank you very much for the space. Thank you very much for answering our attendees' questions. And yeah, thank you. That we're very grateful of having Katam as a partner in our Forest and Technology Forum.
Thank you, Gabriel, and thank you to all of you in the audience. Muchas gracias por la oportunidad y esperamos nos vamos a ver próximo año con unas nuevas innovaciones.
Muchísimas gracias, Magnus. Que tengas bonita tarde.
Bueno, gracias. Adiós.
Hasta luego.
Chao, chao.
Excelente foro, pues agradecemos mucho la participación de Magnus, de Katam, estas tecnologías digitales para emprendedores, empresas forestales que podrían funcionar muchísimo para todos ustedes.